What's going on, everybody? Happy Monday. Welcome to Wholesale Hotline number 60. So if this is your guys' first time tuning in, my name is Bryce, and in this 30-minute pre-show, what we talk about is all things driving for dollars. So it is literally my job to help you guys get your first deal, second, or even third deal. And there's a stat that says 80% of people that get their first deal get it from driving for dollars. So that's why we're harping on driving for dollars. We want you guys to get your foot in this door, and driving for dollars is one of the best ways to actually get your first deal. So in this 30 minutes, kind of how it breaks down is we're going to be talking about, my day. I actually go out in the field. I drive for dollars using the BatchDriven app. I come home and I show you guys some of the houses that we actually added. I show you guys why we decided to add them to our driving for dollars folder. And then what we're going to do is actually hop on the power dialer. Okay, so we have about 7 lines dialing right now on the batch dialer app that we use to cold call. And we're going to try to get, maybe a few conversations on the dialer. Okay, but before we get started, I need to know what market you guys are in. I want you guys to squad up in the comment section, because I think it's very important for you guys just starting out to, meet new people, kind of network with each other, and hopefully get your guys' first deal. So that's what we're going to be talking about today. Yeah, so Carissa, this is actually going to save on the YouTube channel. So this is all going to save. So no worries if you can't stay for the entirety of the show, but it is going to save so you can go back and rewatch it. Okay, so Jim is in Dallas. Looks like Dallas. There's quite a bit of people in Dallas. We have a few people that have been in Zoom calls. They're squatting up. They're actually cold calling each other's list. They're driving for dollars list. So Jim, thank you for mentioning that. Looks like we got Justin from Tampa. Awesome, guys. So we got another guy, Edwin from Texas. Eduardo says he's from Fresno, California. Awesome. Quite a bit of people in Florida as well. Larry says LA. Awesome, guys. So I'm super pumped to have you guys on. It's really just my job to help you guys get your first deal. We utilize the BatchDriven app, and that's what we're going to be talking about today. Okay, so we're just going to jump into this. I'm actually going to share my screen. I'm going to show you some of the houses that we actually added to our driving for dollars list. Okay, I always try to aim, because I do this full time, I always try to do 50 properties every single day. And we added a total of 58 properties today. 58 properties, and it took us about 1 hour and 42 minutes. Okay, so I'm actually going to share my screen, and I'm going to show you some of the houses that we actually added. Okay, so this is what we added today. We added 58 properties that look exactly like this one. And I'm going to sound like a broken record here, but I think it's super important. 80% of people who get started in this business get their first deal from driving for dollars. Okay, so 80%, that is a huge, huge number for you guys. So a lot of you guys have been consistent when it comes to driving for dollars. So I'm super proud of you guys in that aspect. But this is the first house that we decided to add to our driving for dollars folder. And we talk about the 4 pillars, guys. So the first one, I've said this a bunch of times. The first pillar that we look for is going to be poor landscape. Okay, so this one, in this case, they have poor landscape. They don't even have any grass. The second pillar that we look for is exterior distress. Okay, so is the paint starting to chip? Are the windows broken or even boarded up? The third thing that we look for is going to be trash, junk, or broken down cars. Okay, and then the fourth thing that we look for is going to be a damaged roof. Okay, so this one does hit 2 or more of those 4 pillars, so we added this one to our driving for dollars list. You guys can see, there's going to be a bunch of junk, trash in the front yard. The AC unit looks like it needs to be replaced. There's going to be some exterior distress. So this one actually hits quite a bit of those pillars, so we added this one to our driving for dollars list. Okay, and then we're going to go to house number 2. Okay, so this one's an obvious ad. You can see the roof is in very bad condition. On the right-hand side, you can see there was an AC unit. You can see it's going to be clearly vacant. There's going to be some broken down cars, trash, junk, poor landscape. This one hits pretty much all of the pillars, so we added this one to our list. We added 58 properties that look just like these guys. Okay, here's another one. Now, this one you guys might not see there's too much wrong with it, but I wanted to highlight what a lot of people do when they drive for dollars virtually is they'll actually go onto the BatchDriven app and they'll search on the aerial view. And what they'll do is they'll actually look at the tarps. There's going to be a blue tarp on this one. You can see that the bricks are holding that tarp in place. A lot of people that drive for dollars virtually will try to identify, tarps or empty pools, and that's going to give them, a great way for them to actually start in this business. So this one's going to have a damaged roof. It's going to have exterior distress, poor landscape, and it's going to have some junk on the side. Okay, so we added this one to our driving for dollars folder as well. And then this one, this is the last one that we decided to add. Same thing with the roof. I mean, you can see that it has some very, very bad damage on the roof. The exterior looks like they did it themselves. So we definitely added this one as well. But we try to add at least 50 properties every single day that look just like that. Okay, and that's going to be our best list. And this is how a lot of people actually get started is, building their driving for dollars list. They go home and they actually cold call it. So we're actually giving you kind of the inside of the business. So we added 58 properties, took us about an hour and 42 minutes. We already put it into the power dialer, and then we're going to try to cold call them using our cold calling script. Okay, but let me know if you guys have any questions as far as building your list, what to look for, that sort of thing. We're going to go through some of the comments, see if there's anything we can do to help. Saxon says, I'm in Tucson, Arizona. Let's squad up. Saxon, I'm actually based out of Phoenix, Arizona. So I know quite a bit of people in Phoenix. If you're looking to squad up, you can shoot me a direct message on Instagram. My handle is @BatchDrivenApp. Awesome, Denny. Denny's from Detroit. LA. Who's in Vegas? What I can do is I can connect you to Kevin Cho. He's actually a sub two student out of Vegas. Reach out to Kevin. He's a sub 2 student. He just closed on one of his first seller finance deals. So he'd be someone to reach out to. Awesome. So Big Ant Gaming, I just drove for dollars today too. Yeah, we do this 7 days a week. We try to add about 50 properties every single day. So we have a pretty big list built up right now. But great job taking action. Yep, Deal Machine is a good app to use. So we use all things batch. So we use the BatchDriven app. Deal Machine is a great app to use as well. Bryce, does one of your former videos have a step-by-step training for creating a campaign? Robin, I'd be more than happy to hop on a phone call or even a Zoom to walk you through that. So reach out to me on Instagram and we can put together a time where we can walk through a video. I'd be more than happy to do that. What app are you using this? So Larry, we use the BatchDriven app. Okay, so we'll try to add about 50 properties. It's a one-stop shop to get your first deal. That's how I got my first deal as well, is driving for dollars, adding 25 to 30 properties. I would go home and I would single line dial all of those phone numbers because I didn't have the budget to put it into a power dialer. But we use everything batch. So you can send SMS, you can send mail campaigns, everything from this one app. So David, how updated is the aerial view on Batch or Google Maps? Like, what if an area just had a tornado come through? So David, it should be updated on a weekly basis, but that's as far as the aerial view. So what you want to do if you want to do this virtually is actually cross-reference. And what I mean by that is if you're driving for dollars, use the aerial view to find piles of trash or piles of junk in the backyard. Or you can also click on the property in the BatchDriven app and it's going to have the sale date, right? So if the photo on the Google Street View was taken in, let's say 2018, and you click on the property and it was sold 2019, you're probably not going to want to add that property, right? But it's a good idea to cross-reference the aerial view as well as the sale date. But great question, David. I'm in Las Vegas. So Jeff, reach out to Kevin. Kevin Cho is a sub-2 student. Kenny says batch driven all day. Yeah, we use batch driven. We love it so much. Barbara says driving for dollars now. Most houses in good condition. Do you screen neighborhoods before you start? So great question, Barbara. What we do the night before is we'll actually try to find areas that need a ton of work. So we'll try to look for blue tarps, empty pools. We'll try to find houses that have a bunch of trash or junk in the backyard. And that's going to give us a good way for us to start. And I'll actually show you on my phone. This is what my my phone looks like, if you guys can see this. So what I'll do is I'll actually have 2 or more neighborhoods on my my route. That way, if I don't hit 50 in the first neighborhood, I know I can go to the second neighborhood and I can hit the rest of my daily limit. So I like to have 2 or more neighborhoods when I'm driving for dollars. But yeah, Barbara, definitely do your due diligence the night before. It's going to save you a ton of time. Zach's been very consistent with batch driven. He's in Indiana, so make sure you're squatting up with him. Okay, let's see. So Jeff, once you identify a property, do you call, door knock, and or mail them? So Jeff, I think personally, it's going to be most efficient if you just add it to your list, you go home, and then you cold call or send an SMS. Okay, but on the weekends, we actually door knock. We door knock only pre-foreclosures. Unless it's a super ugly distressed house, we'll pull over and we'll actually just go knock it. But to add to that point, you want to be hitting both demographics. So you want to cold call these people, you want to send SMS, because typically the younger demographic is going to answer more responsibly to your text messages, whether the older demographic is going to answer your calls more often. Yeah, so Dominique, how much is the batch driven? It depends on the plan. The base plan, the one that I use to get my first deal, is $49. And if you go to batchdriven.com/squad up, that will give you a 7-day free trial and 50 free skip traces. Okay, so I did everything from that basic plan, $49. I got my first deal with about $250. That was kind of my entry fee into the business. Okay, who's in Houston? So Justin, we use all of the batch. So we will use the batch dialer. Okay, how's the Atlanta market? So Terrell says, one of Pace's sub-2 students. Terrell, if you can make another post about what market you're in, I think that would be great. Awesome, Dominique. Thank you so much. So I pretty much answered all of the questions. So now what we're going to do is we're just going to hop on the power dialer. It's going to be calling 7 lines at once. So it doesn't tell me, who answers the phone. So it'll be on the other screen. Okay. So I'm going to not going to share my screen just for the privacy of these people, but we're just going to hop on the power dialer and we're going to see if we can get some yeses or some nos. Okay, and this one's going to be calling about 7 lines. We have 7 lines running. So the way that works is it's going to call 7 people. If one person answers, then it's going to hang up the additional 6 lines, and it's going to put them in the back of the queue. Okay, so that's kind of how that works. But we have about 624 leads right now. So we're going to be cold calling the rest of these. And I've already been cussed out a few times before, so hopefully we can get a few more. Okay, it's connecting now, and then I will see if we can get some people on the phone.
You are now connected to the predictive dialer.
All right, it's live. Hey, Justin.
Yeah.
Hey, Justin, this is Bryce. How you doing?
Doing good.
Good. Hey, I was just giving you a quick call about your property on 85th Place.
It's not for sale, if that's what you were calling about.
Yeah, I was just going to see if you'd consider an offer, but Okay. Thank you so much for your time.
Okay, thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Awesome. So that guy was actually very nice. We're cold calling. We're here in Phoenix, Arizona. So typically they're not that nice. So what we're going to do is I'm just going to mark this not interested. And as silly as this sounds, we'll actually end up calling this list again in about 6 months. So everyone that's not interested now, things do change. So we'll actually end up calling this list again in about 6 months. Okay. So I'm just going to mark not interested, save and resume, and then we're going to move on to the next phone call. But that's how I personally open up my line. It really just depends on, you know, the person. Brent Daniels, TTP, has a great script. So reach out to him if you guys need a script for cold calling. But all we're trying to do is we're just trying to get people that are actually interested in selling. And we're trying to look for the 4 pillars is what we call them. Hi,
Hello.
Layla. Hi, is this Layla?
Yes, Bryce.
Hey, Layla, this is Bryce. How you doing?
Good.
Good. Hey, I was just giving you a quick call about your property on Elena Ave.
The property?
Yeah, I was just wondering if you've considered selling.
No, I'm not interested in selling it.
Got it. Okay. Hey, do you have any other properties you're looking to sell?
No, this is my only property that I have.
Got it. Okay. Thank you so much for your time.
All right.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Okay, so that's 2 nice ones. That means the third is probably not going to be as nice. So I'm going to mark this one not interested. Keep in mind, guys, it's literally just a timing and consistency thing. You just have to go through this list multiple times to try to find, you know, the people that are actually interested in selling. But I'm glad we actually got a few people on the phone this time instead of last week. We didn't even get one person on, so that's good news. Hey, Manuela?
I'm sorry?
Is this Mr. Figueroa?
No, wrong number, buddy.
Okay. Hey, while I have you on the phone, do you have any properties you're looking to sell?
No, I don't.
Got it. All right, man. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Bye-bye. Boom. So even though that was the wrong number, we always ask that question, hey, do you have any other properties you're looking to sell? And that's actually ended in some contracts. So make sure you guys are always, you know, making the best use of your money and ask that question because you never know who is on the other line. So this one, I'm just going to mark wrong number. I'm going to answer a few questions before we hop on the next one. Yeah, so Brent says free TTV script, go to ttpinsider.com. He has great scripts there, so make sure you reach out. Brent, how's it going?
Bryce, fantastic, brother. I love that the first one you didn't ask if he had any other properties. The second time you did ask. The only other thing that I would give you a little bit of twist on that is say, or even maybe a piece of land, right? Like get real specific because they're like going no. Their force fields built up saying no. I don't want to talk to you. And then you hit them with something like, you know, do you have any other properties? Maybe something that needs complete renovation or even a piece of land, and see if that kind of churns up some stuff. If they don't, they don't. But it gives you something specific to grab onto.
No, that's a great point. Thank you, Brent.
You got it. All right.
No, awesome. So let me see here. Zach says the more you get cussed out, the bigger your arms get. Just check out Brent Daniels pumping that dialer. Okay, how do I join TTP? So Jalen, to answer this, if you are virtual, how do you pick what list to pull? So that's probably a question that you're going to have to ask Brent when the show goes live. But what we're doing right now is we're just cold calling a driving for dollars list. So if you wanted to do this virtually, you could drive for dollars virtually. You can build your list that way, and then you would just give them a cold call. Okay. So I'm going to hop back on, see if we have any other people. Okay. So that one, we're just going to put not interested. Save and resume, and then it's going to keep calling again. But on this one, let's see if we can, we're going to take Brent's advice and see if we can get more specific. Okay, and since we started, it's already called through about 35 phone numbers. So. So Barbara, how late at night do you call? Typically, this is going to be one of the best times. A lot of people are getting off work now. So we'll actually end up calling around 7 p.m. But I've found that the best times to cold call are typically in the mornings when people are going to work, or late evenings when people are getting home. They just have more time to be on their phones. They're not really busy at work.
Hey, Barbara.
Hey, Sylvia.
Hello?
Hey, is this Mr. Barcenas?
I'm sorry, who's this?
Is this Mr. Barcenas?
No, it's not. It's
Okay,
Diamondback
hey, I
Farm.
must have the wrong number, but might you have any properties or any pieces of land you're looking to sell?
No.
Got it. All right, man. Thank you so much.
Thank you, man.
And what I like doing there is, I was actually trying to get a hold of the owner at the property at whatever that address is that you're calling. Maybe you're not just saying addresses on the live show. I get it. But that's what I would use there. If somebody's like, no, this isn't me. No, I don't know who that is or whatever else. Okay, I'm trying to reach this owner. I'm looking to buy a property in the area, and it's kind of difficult getting a hold of the owner. Do you know him? Do you have any idea? Is this just a totally random call? And then just talk to him there, and then opening that up. And Barbara, how late do you call? I would cut it off by 8, to be honest. I kind of have a rule that if the sun's up, it's good. But if you're forced to call later in the evening, then go for it. The best time to call is when you can be consistent. So make sure that you just don't overthink it too much, and just do it when you can fit it in.
Yeah, I was telling her that we usually cold call until about 7:30. I don't want to call any later because people are usually, eating dinner, that sort of thing. Awesome. So Kenneth says, I'm sorry, I just got here late. What dialer are you using? We are using Batch Dialer. We use everything under the Batch umbrella. So Dominique says, so whatever you're looking at on the screen, is that batch driven? Reason for asking, because I hear you being able to mark if they're interested or not interested. I like that, so I won't have to keep calling them the same people over and over. So Dominique, what we're doing is we're on batch driven building a driving for dollars list. And then what we do is we export that list that we added into a power dialer. And the power dialer is the one that gives us that option for interested or not interested. But that's a great question. Okay, Paul says that, hey, Zachary, let's connect. I'm in Indy market. Yep, we use the batch dialer.
Yeah, make sure you guys are squatting up in the early show. This is fantastic. Obviously, we're going to go live here in 5 minutes. We got Jacob Blank that is going to be joining us. He is ready to go. It's going to be an exciting show. But we're just warming it up. We're showing you what it takes to do this business. I mean, you're literally seeing what the effort looks like. I mean, this is not something crazy. This is not something that is rocket science and you need a ton of training to do. find ugly houses, get their phone number, call them up, and see if they would consider an offer on their phone. And your skills will improve. Your skills will improve. Your endurance will improve, and your ability to really, really generate leads will improve every single hour that you stack into your experience.
Yeah, that's why I like doing this, because we're actually giving them, the insight of how to get your first, second, or third deal. It's doing exactly what we're talking about doing right now.
Yep. Yeah, and Bryce, when you started, were you nervous? Were you like, oh my gosh, how is this possible? Like, can I do this? Or were you just kind of like, I mean, what were you like when you first pressed go?
Oh, I was very nervous. But one thing that did help, I didn't rely too much on it, was having a script. In case I did get stumbled up, I need to figure out what this pillar is. But I mean, it's one of those things, the faster you get it done with, the faster you can, possibly delegate it out in the future. So that's kind of my mindset going in. I was like, okay, if the faster I get my first deal, the sooner I can hire, virtual assistants to do it for me.
Love it. Love it. And it's just putting in, and the interesting thing is, and everybody should, if you've ever seen me, or maybe this is your first time hearing it, but when you call somebody up and ask them if they would consider an offer on their property, there's only 6 responses. They're only going to give you 6 responses. Yes, I do want to sell. No, never. Maybe I want to sell in the future. How much will you give me? Who are you? And how'd you get my number? That's it. That's the 6 responses that you're going to get. So learn how to respond to those 6 responses, and you're going to feel a lot more confident. And we're going to be talking about confidence at the start of this show. It's going to be the first thing that we talk about, is building up the confidence, because that is absolutely key. So I'll save it for that. Why don't you close us out here, and I'll see you guys in 2 minutes.
Awesome, guys. So thank you so much for tuning into the Wholesale Hotline pre-show. Hopefully you guys got some value. We're literally breaking down what you guys should be doing to get your first deal. So I want to leave it at that. What I'm going to do is I'm going to type in the comments. If you guys have any questions pertaining to BatchDriven, Batch Dialer, anything, make sure that you reach out to me on BatchDriven app on Instagram. So I'm going to type this in. That way you guys can see it. So if you guys reach out to me on Instagram at BatchDriven app, you guys can message me any questions. I'd be more than happy to hop on phone calls. My job is really to help you guys get your first deal. And thank you guys so much for tuning in. That's really all I have. And I hope you guys are having a great Monday.
Wholesale Hotline, where we cover everything to do with wholesale real estate. I'm Jamil Damji.
I'm Brent Daniels.
And I am Pace Morby.
And together we cover the most important parts of wholesale real estate.
Lead generation.
Conversion of sellers into contracts.
And dispositions. Guys, remember, when you're watching this show, do us a favor and squad up in the comments.
Make sure that you are liking and subscribing to the YouTube channels and in the Facebook group Wholesale Hotline.
Most important, we want to know we're doing a great job for you and helping you build your business. So go give us a review on iTunes and or Spotify.
So squad up and enjoy the show!
Everybody. Hey! Here we go.
Voila.
Absolutely incredible. Where's Jacob? Let's get Jacob push add a stream. There he is. All right. Woo! Hey, welcome everybody to Wholesale Hotline number 60, where we have 90 minutes to answer the questions you have about your wholesaling business. It doesn't matter if you've never done a deal or you have done dozens and dozens and dozens. We are here to answer all of your questions. I am one of the four hosts today, but one of the three main hosts, Brent Daniels, Mr. TTP. I've got Pace Morby here. Next to me, below me is Jamil Damji, and it is our pleasure to introduce for the first time on our show, Mr. Jacob Blank. So Jacob, say hello to the whole Wholesale Hotline.
Thank you guys for having me. I appreciate it. I'm excited. Let's answer some questions. Let's help some people out on their real estate journey. Let's do it.
Awesome.
Dude, first and foremost, Jacob, I think it's important that we share with people your incredible story, right? Because you're not just some average, not that anybody who's a wholesaler and that's doing it consistently and making a business is an average person, because that's an incredible human being doing an incredibly difficult thing and making life work and making money, and all that's great. However, I met you when you were 17 years old.
Yeah, I think I might have even been 16 the first time I met you.
16 years old. 16 years old, I meet Jacob Blank for the first time, and completely shocked me. He shocked me that there was somebody that age that was paying attention, learning, following, watching YouTube, figuring out how to do this business, and just, you know, at that age, you're more worried about Nintendo. You're worried about girls. You're worried about all the things that 16-year-olds do. And meanwhile, you're over here like, how do I go make $1 million? So first and foremost, Jacob, can you explain to the people who don't know you what that journey was like, and how did you find this crazy niche of wholesale real estate?
Yeah, so my journey in real estate started when I was pretty young. My dad's been flipping houses, and he's been a realtor since 2004. And he would do like 4 to 7 flips a year. And I would go when I was 12 years old and, paint walls, move rock, whatever it was, for like $20 on the weekends. And that's kind of how I got, interested in real estate in the first place and was brought around it. And then when I turned 16, my family was going through a bunch of family issues. We had a lawsuit on one deal, and it was like destroying my family and separated everyone. And my dad found this deal direct to seller, and he thought it would be good for me to be with him every day to help him out mentally and financially, and just work with him day in, day out. And he's like, you know what, you should put $5,000 down on this flip. And if you do the process from start to finish with me, you learn the paperwork, you do everything, right? I put in toilets, painted baseboards, tore out carpet, you name it. I did everything possible, which is important to do because you got to learn every part of the business before you pass it off to someone else. So that's what I did. I doubled my money, and now I had $10,000. When this flip was coming to an end, I found out about wholesaling real estate. I saw people like Alex Sines, who started at 18 years old. And I was like, oh my gosh, I could really do this. And I realized that flip took us like 6 months because we did so much of the work ourselves, and flips just take a long time. I realized, wow, I could have done 10 wholesale deals in the amount of time it took me to do that one flip and made 10 times the money with little to no money out of my pocket. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I got to go for this. This is really something I could do at my age. I really think I could do this, right? I don't have to go get hard money. I don't have to figure out how to get someone to lend me private money to run my own flips. I can do this. I can really do this. And that's when I got hooked. Next thing you know, I'm up till 3 a.m. every night, learning everything I possibly could. Like you said, most kids are focused on video games and whatnot, and girls and partying and whatever it is. But if you are young and you just surround yourself with knowledge and you spend all your time trying to learn these things and stop watching stupid shit on TV and start focusing on the real stuff that could change your life forever, that's what will change your life. So I'm up till 3 a.m. every night, filling out my notebook, figuring out different strategies to do, right? I'm watching Brett Daniels. I'm watching Jamil. I'm watching Pace. I'm watching all these YouTube videos, trying to figure out how do I get my foot in the game. And then after I felt like I had a good understanding of the business, I started taking action. The first thing that I did was I printed out 1,000 flyers that said, you know, I buy houses for cash, no commissions. We pay all closing costs as is condition, right? Printed out like 1,000 of those flyers, just regular printer paper. And I went around with my friends and I drove around to all the pre-foreclosures and lates in my area, knocking on the door. If they didn't answer, I would tape that paper to the door or leave it in the mailbox. Did that, probably put out 500 of them till I got tired of doing that, got 0 calls, got doors slammed in my face, you name it. And then I decided, you know what? I got to talk to people, right? TTTP. I got to reach more people. I got to get on the phone. So I got data. I got the Mojo dialer, and I was making 4 to 6 hours of phone calls every single day. I went on a few appointments. I was gaining some traction. And at that point, I built too many leads up where I couldn't produce new leads while following up with the old ones. So that's when I decided to hire 2 cold callers. I had the money saved up, right? I had that $10,000 I always saved when I was younger. So I had the money to do this. I hired 2 cold callers. So now I was just focused on the following up of the leads. It took me 8 months to get my first deal. I went on multiple appointments. Then I tried to shift and try to lock people up over the phone. But ultimately it came down to getting face-to-face and me locking up a deal. I locked up my first deal under contract in Gilbert, Arizona on a golf course, walked a buyer through it. He pointed out that there was a bunch of foundation issues, brought that up to the seller. The seller told me, yeah, we have a bid for $17,000 in foundation repair. And that completely killed the numbers. I had to cancel the contract on my first deal. I felt completely destroyed, but I did not give up. I kept pushing forward, got back on the phone, got back following up, finally found a deal out here in Scottsdale, Arizona. Seller wanted 440. I thought I needed to be around 410. I'm like, you know what? It makes sense for me to come out to the property, take a look. I might be able to come up a little bit on my price. That's what I did. We agreed on the 440, wound up selling the deal to Zach Keeps. You guys know him, and made a $30,000 assignment fee on my first deal at 17 years old. Woo! And the rest is history. Crazy.
Yes.
And it's all because I stayed committed. You know, I could have spent 2 months and gave up, but I went for it. And if you just never give up, you will be a winner at the end of the day. So crazy.
Absolutely incredible. I mean, absolutely incredible. Listen, everybody out there that is wondering, how long does it take? Why is it taking so long? 8 months at 17 years old. First of all, real quick, Jacob, how did you, as a 17-year-old, this is blowing my mind. How the hell did you save $10,000?
Yeah. So like I ran this whole other business before this with OfferUp. So it's kind of like the same model, buy low, sell high, and also partnerships, right? Like we can partner with sellers to renovate their house for them and then put it on the market. We can, you know, partner and do JV deals. So what I did is I found people that had a lot of junk or they had a lot of stuff that they could sell. So for example, my grandma's handyman, he would work the old age neighborhoods and they'd give him a bunch of stuff. So he had a garage full of stuff and I partnered with him. I'm like, you know what? I'll sell everything you've got in your garage. Just give me 50% of it. Partnered with him, sold a bunch of stuff. Then I partnered with my friends, right? They had Legos and video games and old stuff, right, that they don't use anymore. I'm like, let's partner 50% I'll do all the work. And so I ran a whole business off OfferUp. I also saved all my birthday money, you name it. When friends would go out to buy candy or whatever it was, I'm good. I don't need none of that. So I just saved.
I gotta buy a house. I don't need candy. I don't need a girlfriend. I don't need a Nintendo game. I gotta buy a house.
Yeah. And I'm the type of person where there's things that I really want, but it's like so hard for me to spend my money on it. And so that's just how I always was, and always saved my money for a bigger purpose. So
you want to know what one of those purposes is? I was personally there. Jacob didn't know I was actually I was in the store, right? Maybe you did, maybe you do know, because I'd seen your dad.
Yeah.
But this guy takes his mom shopping to Louis Vuitton and spoils her.
Yeah.
Right? This guy he's not like taking girlfriends, he's treating mom. You know what I mean? Like,
Smart man.
You're an incredible guy, Jacob. Like, I just think about how you came into it, the kind of mind that you require to forego all of the biological, age, demographical, more normal things 16-year-old people do to bypass. Look, it's hard for an adult to bypass dumb shit, but here's a 16-year-old bypassing dumb shit so that he can see the further picture, so he can go to the end zone, right? And it's incredible to me that he not only transcends that biology, right? But he transcends a level of maturity that I think even many adults don't have. Beyond that, guys, changed my kid. Here he is, okay? Here he is, gets into his first flip, makes some money. His first wholesale deal unravels, okay? It unravels because of a bad foundation. And that's where 80% of wholesalers who get their first contract quit.
Mm-hmm.
So he gets tested with a big problem. He gets tested with a failure, and then annies up and continues going. Meanwhile, he's got staff. He's got 2 cold callers running. I mean, I'm flabbergasted. I'm flabbergasted by what that mentality, what that thought process is. So how long ultimately was it until you got that deal that you sold to Zach? Was it
8 months? 8 months. Yep. And thank you so much, bro. And I think it honestly just comes down to mindset. And it comes down to mindset in the beginning to be able to break through and get that first deal. And then in order to scale and get to, this is hard. I feel like a lot of people think it's going to be easy, and it's not. Wholesaling real estate is a grind, day in, day out, and you got to stay consistent. Otherwise, you'll have dry months with a 0 on the board, and it just goes that way, always.
How many deals are you doing a month now, Jacob?
We're doing about 8 to 12 deals a month.
And what's your average monthly?
We're hitting 6 figures every month. We just had a $200,000 month in February, our first $200,000 month. So that was awesome. So yeah, crushing it.
Can I jump in and say something? I agree with everything these guys are saying, but I think there's something we got to highlight real quick. Okay. We got to highlight somebody who changed the trajectory of your life. Your dad, right? We got to look at the fact that the reason why we're all in this game is we're trying to build our own legacy. And your dad, obviously, you were providing moral support for everything he was going through at the time, just like a good son should. You should be a friend to your father, and you were. And by no means am I stripping away anything that you did, because everything you did is nothing short of miraculous. I promise you that. The one thing that I tell people all the time is that when I meet people, they go, well, what are you trying to do? What are you all about, Pace? I say, well, I'm all about 3 things. Number 1, I want to help people quit their jobs, right? I want people to not quit working. I want people to quit their jobs, right? And luckily, Jacob, you never really had to go have a traditional job, which is awesome. So you already quit that. Number 2, I want to teach people how to be consistent in that. And then number 3, I want those people to turn around and help their children never have to have a job in their freaking lives, right? Now, your dad already did that. Like, your dad helped you build a legacy, or your dad is building his family legacy. He might not have known. Did he know he was doing that at the time, Jacob?
Not in the beginning. We were just trying to get out of deep waters. Like, we were just trying to get a breath. I don't really talk about it much, but we were in really bad times. But then after that deal and once everyone was starting to do better, then we realized really what was taking place.
Right. So the thing is this, when my dad was a contractor, so I learned how to work hard, right? And I'm not going to diminish my father by any means, but it's our responsibility as real estate investors that's the first thing we teach our children is how to make money, not go get a job, right? So like a couple of weeks ago, we were talking about the trailer rental business that I'm teaching my kid, and then I take my kid on appointments. I'm telling you guys right here, right now, that Jacob is the byproduct of teaching your kids properly at a young age that it's not about getting a job. It's not about going to college. It's about going and making money by solving problems. Now, Jacob, you are a unicorn. So by no means am I stripping that away from you. I just wanted to make sure that we highlighted that because, guys, we're not here just to make a buck. We're here to produce way more Jacobs than
100%
exists in the world, right?
That's what I'm here for too. Otherwise, I could just not be on Wholesale Hotline and just go make money and stack it away. I want to impact tons of kids' lives, especially now with COVID and everything. So many more kids that I'm friends with are going to community college instead of attending, regular college. And it's because of the COVID, things have changed. And so they need to, switch their mindset and look at things differently. And if any time was the time, it's now to go a different direction than everyone else.
Before I shut up, because I love this topic. I think that the most important thing that you went through wasn't even learning real estate. What the most important thing you learned was going through that shit with your parents and your family and understanding that there is nothing more important than sticking through and being loyal to your family and figuring things out. Because now, dude, when anything tests you, it's like a joke compared to what you guys went through before. It's a joke. And so many people are looking for the easy button, Jacob. So many people are simply saying, how do I just push this one button and not have any pain, not have any anxiety, not have any rejection, not have any... Guys, it's a requirement in the recipe of success. And Jacob, again, I'm not diminishing bro. I'm so impressed by you, but I'm letting you guys know you have to walk through that fire. There's not a single person that you will ever hear their success or their come up story that says, yeah, dude, like, I don't know. I just was like walking down the street and I found this easy button. I pushed that easy button and this shit just happened. Right? Jacob, you are so, I hope you text your dad, and I know you tell your dad this all the time. You got to tell your dad, like, all of that hard stuff that we went through as a family, Dad, I promise you it was 100% worth it. And he probably already knows that, right?
Oh yeah. It was all meant to be. And all the stuff that I went through prior and whatnot, you got to go through the stuff. It's not the real estate. It's not.
Thanks, Pace.
David!
It's not I like what you said, that the real estate wasn't the main thing to make me who I am or whatever it was. It's pushing through the trials and tribulations, because everyone does want the easy thing, but you can only become a stronger person by going through shit over and over and over again. And then you're able to deal with it like nothing else. And that's huge. A lot of, I feel like it's like 70% mindset, 30% business
I mean, before we move on, because I know there's a ton of people have questions about your business, and I think that's probably where most of the value today is going to come from. But Brent and Jamil, did you guys just have an easy button, or was there like a 2-minute story that you guys had to go through, like some trial of fire?
Oh, bro, my life, you know my life. My whole life was trial by fire, right? The facts is that I know for me at least, had I not gone through all of the difficult things I had been through, I wouldn't be where I am today. But I'll tell you what, I wasn't Jacob at 18. I was a piece of crap, right? If I look back at what I was like at 16 years old, oh my gosh, embarrassing. What I was like at 25 years old when I'd already made my first $1 million. The things I spent my money on at 25. So that when I did go through my next downfall, when we all look, millionaires are going to make it, lose it, make it, lose it, make it, lose it. It's what we do, right? Because we take risks. But when I had the downturn in 08 and I went completely broke and I looked at all of the dumb things I'd done with my money, right? I could see that there was a lack of maturity there. That no matter, yes, I had strength, I had fortitude, I could get through tough stuff, but I didn't have the mental maturity to just like be a man in that age, even though I was technically a man for many years, almost a decade, but still I was acting like a boy. Here we had truly a boy being a man at 16 years old.
Thank you.
It's just.
And I've been a piece of crap too. I've messed around, been a stupid kid.
At what, 11?
At some point, I just got over it. I just said I'm gonna be great, and I'm gonna be great now, and I went for it. You know.
Listen, it's a confidence thing. But in the pre-show, before you guys hopped on, I talked about I wanted to kind of explore this, because this is confidence, and what confidence comes from is attacking these challenges, these struggles, whether it be whatever, financial hardship, emotional hardship, the environment that you're grown up in, the not having people that have been successful, be it people that have, to kind of pull you down. All of these things are challenges. And when you get past that, if you have the faith to believe that you can get past that, that builds confidence. And once you have confidence, then you can actually use the skills that you're learning at 3 a.m. You can actually implement the things that you are trying to achieve. You can provide the value to the community based on the things that you are learning because you have the confidence. Without confidence, I mean, it's like imagine having like $25 million in a bank account that you can't access. Right? That's what it's like to have all the skills, all the education, all the instruction that you have, but you don't have confidence. I mean, that's what it is. This is about a confidence and building it up and just pushing through and being able to do something exciting. And Jacob, believe it or not, your challenges are just getting started, brother. Because the louder you are, and I encourage everybody to be as loud as possible, the more responsibility you're going to have for people looking up to you. And because of that, that's going to be a challenge at 18 years old, 19 years old, whatever it is, that's going to be a challenge. And I'm sure it's a challenge that you are ready and open to accept, but it's a challenge. It's a distraction. It's things that will affect your business, either positive or negative. So you have to look at it and look at what is the true goal here. Is the true goal to build a legacy of being a real estate investor? Is it to be an influencer? Is it to be a coach? Is it to be a great dad or brother or father or whatever it is, or son? What is the goal? And then attack that and add your confidence to whatever that is and make sure that you're just staying on that path, because you've got an incredibly bright future. And I'm excited to watch it. I'm excited to watch it unfold. I'm excited to see what you do over the next 7-10 years. And I think it's just the start, brother. But here they come. Here come the distractions. Here come the challenges.
Can I say, I'm going to say one last thing and I'll shut up. Because I think, guys, I'm going to suggest that all of you guys in the comments, we got 360 to 380 people watching live right now. Okay. A lot of people watching live. I want to see a lot of questions about Jacob's business. I want you guys to feel encouraged to ask him questions, because the dude is eloquent, he's intelligent, and he's passionate about this. So I'm excited about hearing this. So here's the thing. What I loved about this, and it's the same thing, people criticize me for working too much, but they don't realize that a lot of the time that I'm spending working and I'm out in the field, guess who I'm with? I'm with my children, right? So your dad lived what I call the law of duality, always doing two things at the same time. Spending time with his son. He was actually doing three things at the same time. He was making money, spending time with his son, and then teaching his son a skill and being around that mindset, right? It doesn't matter whether your dad was making millions of dollars every single day, What matters is that your dad was putting you in that atmosphere, right? So guys, if you're not doing deals and your children are one of your many excuses, I highly suggest you get your ass in your car, you drive for dollars, and you let your kids actually use your phone almost like a video game and say, let's go look for houses instead of playing Pokemon Go or watching Netflix. Go spend time with your kids, break the legacy curse that might be in your family. That's my goal, right? My goal is my dad's still working in his 60s. My dad's still working. I don't want my kids to ever be in the same situation. I had a great upbringing. Jacob had a great upbringing, even with the trials and tribulations. I can guarantee you guys had a lot of love in your household.
Yep.
What I'm saying is this: don't let your children be your excuse. Your children are the reason you're doing this in the first place. Get them in the car and go spend the time with them. Go drive for dollars. Go find other people that need your help. That's what Jacob's doing. Why is he making $200,000 in February and $100,000 plus months every single month the last multiple months? Is because Jacob has found families that need his help. So take your kids out in the field, teach them on Saturdays and Sundays. This is what we do. We find people to serve, and we get paid for value that we bring. Get rid of those excuses. My mouth is now shut up.
No, Pace, I appreciate you saying all that. It's very necessary, and you highlight a point that a lot of, first of all, Pace, and what you're saying, a lot of people have that excuse, and so you're bringing to light a challenge and showing people how to leverage what they may perceive as a challenge and turn it into a benefit. Obviously, David Blank, who I also know, and he's a tremendous man. He's a tremendous man. He knew that. He knew that he could. He was actually. It sounded to me like he wanted Jacob around, so it was kind of a dual purpose. It was helping him feel better because of what they were going through, but also like, hey, son, come learn, come do this, which is incredible. But I remember something in the story, Jacob. You were saying, your father was fixing and flipping, and then you stumbled onto wholesale. So are you and Dad still running two separate businesses?
Well, we're both intertwined on everything, but when we do flips, he's more the guy going there multiple times. I just go to film the before video and the after video. And then other than that, he's the guy that runs all the flips because he's better at that than me. I'm better at the wholesale stuff. And I kind of dive more in on the sales and the sales skills and whatnot and running the acquisition guys. So when we do flips, he's kind of more on that side, but we're intertwined in every part of the business. Also, Pace, so many parents come up to me and they say, I want to get my kid involved. Their kid's like 16 years old. I'm like, how much money does your kid have saved up? Their kid's got like $3,000-$4,000 saved up. I'm like, you got to get them involved. And like this happens like weekly. Parents reach out and say this. And I'm like, what are you waiting for? I don't know what it is. It's like they won't commit to get their kid involved. They got to bring their kid around and get them involved. I don't know. So parents out there, make sure you commit and bring your kid around and get them involved because it'll change their life forever. And who knows, it might just change your life forever too because they might be really good at business as well, and you'll be the best partnership in the world.
Incredible. So Jacob, what is first off, we're going to get into your business in a moment, but I want to ask you a couple more questions. What do you think about college?
College, I'm not going to college, obviously, but, for certain types of people, certain personality types, it might be the right path for them. It just depends on the person, but do I think that you could, take senior year of high school and get on YouTube and learn how to make money and the decision will be made for you not to go to college? Yes. So right now, if you're a senior or a junior and you don't really like the idea of going to college, make the decision for you. Put the work in, find something to make money at, and prove it to your parents, your family, and yourself that you don't need to go. You got a year, enough time to make that decision before having to go. So that's my thoughts about college,
Awesome. Brent, anything?
Yeah, Jacob. So, are you finding? Well, I guess people are going to want to know like how you're finding your deals, and we'll kind of get to that in a second, but are you finding that being loud and getting out there is getting you opportunities for real estate deals here locally?
Being loud as far as on social media is just to impact other people that are young and whatnot and other people trying to get in the business. But I am loud as far as my marketing. I do a ton of cold calling. I have 30 cold callers. Last month, we made 7.25 million phone calls. And I really like cold calling. It's rudimentary. You're just getting people on the phone. And I think you just got to be talking to people. You got to be talking to people, and you got to be comping properties and looking at properties every single day, day in and day out. Otherwise, you're not going to get a deal. A lot of people are building systems, processes, whatever it is, posting on Facebook. If you know anybody that's looking to sell, here's $1,000. You got to be on the phone. You got to be talking to as many homeowners as possible, looking at as much property every single day. Otherwise, you're never going to get a deal. And that's just the way it goes. So I'm loud. I make a ton of phone calls. That's pretty much our marketing.
You've got 30 cold callers. You made 7.25 million calls, and that generated about 10 to 12 deals for you?
Yep.
And about $200,000 in revenue?
Yep.
What were your costs associated with that?
Well, I'm spending about $22,000 to $24,000 on marketing every month. And then as far as payroll for the acquisition guys and rent, we're spending about $30,000 a month to make
about $55,000 in expenses and about $200,000 in gross revenue. That's a fantastic.
No, 30 total. 30 grand total a month. Yeah.
That's with commissions?
Yeah, with everything. Rent, acquisition guys, payroll, right? And then all the 30 cold callers and the other marketing we do.
Where are your cold callers from? Are they from the Philippines? Are they local?
Yeah, they're from the Philippines. I use the callgenius.com for cold callers.
Awesome. Jacob, what kind of data are you pulling? What's your favorite type of lists?
Well, obviously I have a lot of cold callers. I'm making 7.25 million calls a month, right? So I got to go pretty broad. I also hit all the niches in my main markets. But I go pretty broad. I pull like 5 years plus residents for the whole county and just hit everything. Honestly, I don't even care if you own a home. I just want to talk to you and find out if you know somebody that owns a home. So I just want to talk to people.
Oh, I love this guy so much.
Yeah. That's how I think about it. And you focus on just niche lists. Everyone's hitting the niche list. There's way more competition. I just want to speak to people and find out. So blanket marketing is kind of how I am.
You're hitting everybody. Are you only working in Arizona?
No, main markets are Arizona and Texas right now. We just went into California, Florida, and Georgia. We've gotten a couple deals in Florida, but there's been a few issues with them. And we're working on a couple in Georgia. But right now, Arizona and Texas have been doing the best for us.
Excellent. And I know we work with you on disposition and we buy some deals and you guys are flipping your deal. Let's talk a little bit about your guys' process. So how does that work? Who's doing the comping for you? What's that all about? Because that's a lot of houses to be looking at in comping.
Yeah, so the cold callers make the calls, they submit the leads in, and then the acquisition guys take the leads from there and open up the call, collect a little bit more information, build a rapport, and then figure out what they want for their property and calculate an offer. So my acquisition guys are running all the numbers. Sometimes if a property's hard to comp, they'll say, I'll call you back in 5 minutes, and they'll come get help. But basically, they're able to do everything themselves. And there's a couple guys that are like veterans. They've been with me for about a year. And so if I'm not here in the office, because sometimes when they get close to getting a deal, they'll bring it to me as the finance manager to close it, to get the contract signed and negotiate a little bit more. But if I'm not here, they take it to those two guys that have been here for a long time. And so, they're pretty much running everything themselves as far as comps and all that. So
you've got 2 acquisition managers, Jacob?
I have 5. I have 1 virtual and 4 in the office.
Yeah.
But I had 6 a week ago. But
are they commission only? Or do you give them a base?
I do salary of $2,000 a month, but we just switched to payroll, and so we're doing like $1,680 or something a month, and then I pay 10% commission. So when we look at it at the back end of everything, when everything's said and done, they're sitting around 20% total.
Yeah, that makes
deal.
Yeah, 20% when you include their salary in there. It's not draw, we pay them every month because we want to bring in good quality people. So we got to make sure they feel comfortable. But then also you run into guys that feel too comfortable. And then that's a problem too.
You better believe it, brother.
Let's talk about that because it sounds to me like you're running the show at your spot with the 4 local acquisition managers, 30 cold callers. So what does your day look like? Are you doing huddles with your cold callers and then working with your act managers? What's the process?
Yeah, so usually once a month we try to coordinate to get all the cold callers and everyone on a Zoom call together. That way, like my acquisition guys especially can see how much goes into this so they can realize it's pretty hard to do this yourself and to see how much we're putting into this just to get you these leads. So we try to do that, kind of bring the morale and just show everyone that this is a big organization. It's not just the, 7 of us here in the office or whatever. And so normally on Mondays we'll do sales training. And then if I see errors or whatever, cause they send me a recording that they want me to listen to every day. If I listen in the morning, and then if I see errors, we'll do some sales training every morning. And then I'm, like Dispo, mainly I run all the Dispo. So that's pretty much what I do. Transaction coordination, Dispo. And then I do all the social media stuff. And then I'm just here to help them out with whatever it is, whatever rebuttal they're hit with or whatnot. But yeah, my days change, right? When we're the CEO, we're just putting out fires. We never know what's going to pop up. So there's not really a set schedule for the most part.
And it's fun because Jacob and I just worked on a deal. I know it got a little sticky at the end, but we muscled through it.
Yeah.
Incredible. First of all, incredible negotiator. I'm trying to buy a house from Jacob, and he's not just going to sell you a house and give it to you at the price you want it at. He's going to sell it at the price he wants to sell it at. Right. Yeah. And I love that, bro. I respect you're on here because all of us collectively respect you and love you so much. But it was truly the negotiation that I had with you that piqued it in my mind to think, this guy is something else. He is different. He's cut from a different cloth. And I think it's just so incredibly inspiring for people to see the success and see what it looks like and just see that it's not really out of reach. I mean, guys, this is somebody who learned how to wholesale from YouTube at 16 years old, then took action. And you got a list and skip traced the list and did some cold calls, then hired 2 cold callers and waited 8 months to get his first deal and failed in the first time he got a contract, failed and kept going. There was somebody who wrote in the comments, Jacob, what would you say? How could you shorten the 8 months it took you to get your first deal? Wrong question. Question. That's not the right question. That's you saying, how do I do this fast? That's so wrong.
Didn't we just talk about
it takes that long. You just can't give up. If it takes that long, it takes that long. You got to go for it. But I think right now there's so much more free information out online that you can get your first deal in under 4 months. I really think so if you're doing the right things.
So what things then? So then let's answer that question for him. So what things could you have done to take the 8 months down to 4? Where did you go to broad, or how did you waste time, or how did why double?
So this is what worked for me. I would have not done the flyers. I did some bandit signs too. I forgot to mention that. No, wouldn't have done that. You got to be doing proactive marketing. The flyers are kind of proactive, but you're waiting for them to call you back. You got to be doing proactive marketing, not reactive. You don't want to be waiting for people to come to you. Then it's on their timeline. You want to get this deal quick. You got to go for them. My favorite and least expensive way is cold calling. Obviously, you can reach the most amount of people for the least amount of money. So you need to get on the phone and you just need to be talking to homeowners and looking at property every single day for hours on hours every day. Otherwise, it's not going to work. And if you cold call for a week, then you take a break for a week and then cold call for 2 more weeks and then take another break for a week, not going to work. You got to be doing this for months, every single day, and then it will work. That's what I recommend doing.
Every time you say the word cold call, it's like you're giving Brent a little kiss on the back of his neck.
I know.
Listen, we've been talking about this for 4 years. I mean, I keep saying the same thing. Jacob's saying it, and it's the truth. Listen, if you have quality conversations with distressed property owners, you will win. You will win every time. It is impossible not to win. I mean, that's just what it is. I mean, this is perfect. I mean, this is a perfect example, Jacob. You know, do you have your 30 callers call 40 hours a week?
The ones, so I have a handful in Mexico, and then the rest are in the Philippines. So the ones in the Philippines do 30 hours a week, and then the ones in Mexico work from home, and they have a window of 40 hours to work. They have to do a minimum of 30 hours, otherwise they go on probation. I have a manager that I pay a good amount of money that manages all them, and she lives in town with them. So like if computers, headsets, I got to bring stuff there. It's kind of a headache, but it was a major headache before I hired her. So she deals with all the headaches and fires, hires, trains. So I have the Philippines doing 30 and then 40. And then I also have 2 assistant managers for her that do SEO and social media stuff for me as well. So I got like a full team on that end to deal with that.
So you're looking at this thing, just to give everybody the big idea, the big picture, when you have that many callers, that much horsepower underneath your machine on a weekly basis, about how many leads are you guys getting in?
Yeah, so we're getting 1,400 leads a month. January, we got 1,188 leads, and then we got 1,300, and last month we got 1,400 leads.
And this is very interesting for everybody out there, because if you're doing the math, you're looking at over 100 leads per deal.
Right.
All right. So, I mean, that is pretty.
And our conversion rate is not the best. We're working on it, you know, but we're very profitable. So we're just keeping the lead flow coming. Back in, we had 18 callers, I believe, in December. So we really bumped it up, and
awesome.
We went for it in 2021 for sure.
Hey, Jacob, we've got a bunch of people. Actually, we've got Lewis keeps asking the same question. He's really, really, really concerned about this question. Do you mind looking at the screen and reading this?
Yeah. What core values do I hold for myself and my company? Honesty, loyalty, and caring for the company. Once you have an employee that cares for the company, they're amazing. They care to make sure things are done. They take accountability to make sure things are done, right? I don't promote people unless they care, like that they care about me, my dad, the whole team, because otherwise they're the wrong person. They're just looking for a check, and they're not willing to do anything extra for the company. And they're not willing to, oh, that wasn't done. He didn't do that. Oh, no, that needs to be done, and actually worry about it. So caring is huge. And yeah, honesty, respect, loyalty, caring about the company.
Hey, Jacob, is there any way that I can call your leads that you guys aren't converting on?
That we're not converting? We just started to dive into the creative stuff, and we're trying to figure out how to be you and convert more. But yeah,
well,
bro.
Nobody can be me better than me.
I need some advice. We got to partner on some of these creative deals.
Give me your leads, and I'll close them out for you. Your guys' team can watch me do it. We'll record.
We've got tons that we're missing out.
Give them to me. I'll help you close them.
Let's do it.
Revive your dead leads, because here's the thing, right? We rarely find an operation with as many dead leads as you guys are creating with that kind of 1,400 leads, and you're doing 12 deals. So there's 1,300 whatever. So there's over 1,380 leads there that are possibly dead.
Yeah.
Right? Sub 2, Pace's sub 2 army, and Pace himself could crush that into possibly another 10 or 20 deals. I think there's an opportunity for you.
We have a total of just under 12,000 leads.
Jacob, let me help you out with those. You guys give me the worst quality leads, and I'll close a dozen of them, and you guys can watch me. We'll record the conversations, everything. We'll JV on those deals.
Yeah. Sounds good.
I think someone just said Jacob just doubled his revenue on Wholesale Hotline, and I think that's quite a possibility.
You buy them too, right? You'll buy sub 2s, creative deals. Yeah.
If it's in Arizona, Texas, Atlanta, I do not wholesale them. I take them down myself. I buy them myself. If it's
He buys them,
anywhere
Jacob.
outside of those 3 areas,
He's pumped to buy them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's do it.
I'll pay over retail. In fact, we have 9 properties we're buying right now, and the offer price is, here's the offer price. It literally says this in the offer price. It says Zillow plus $20,000 on all 9 houses. So whatever the day we close is, she's going to go to Zillow, the seller, and she's saying this is the contract price is Zillow plus $20,000.
Wow. I love your video of the Starbucks. Will you take terms? That was so funny.
Yeah.
All of them are so good.
So you've been doing some social media and influence stuff, really getting out there to help show young people that they can take control of their financial destinies and their futures and really become entrepreneurs at a young age. Talk a little bit about that journey, because we've got, how many 400 people here right now watching live, many of whom are a little bit older, and they're older adults like myself and Pace and Brent that have a little bit of. And again, for me, I didn't start getting onto social media and talking until about a year ago, right? Yeah. And I was really recluse and really not wanting to be out there, but I've seen how relevant and important it is. Talk a little bit about that journey, why you're doing it, and what impact you've made.
Yeah. So growing up, I always wanted to be a YouTuber. Always, and that was like my dream. Or
that's like a TV star for you in your age group, right? It's like basically like being a TV star. Yep.
Yeah. So I really wanted to be a YouTuber, and I was doing photography and video stuff like all the time. I bought multiple cameras growing up, and that was like what I actually spent my money on, because I liked doing that. And it's just crazy how both worlds collided, how I could like do social media and real estate and help people. And so that's been super amazing. But, not only just helping people, being on social media and putting yourself out there opens so many doors for you. The people that I've met, right? Even me just being on this call with you guys that are crushing it in real estate, the doors that can open for you from being on social media is unreal. So yeah, what I do on social media, I put out 2 to 3 YouTube videos every week, teaching you how-to videos on, how to get proof of funds, right? Deal breakdowns, case studies, how to do cold calling, talking to motivated seller tips. I put all that stuff out, 2 to 3 videos every week, everything you could possibly need to get into the business. And that's pretty much my main focus right now. I do a little bit on Instagram, but as far as education and trying to help people, I put that mainly on YouTube. And yeah, it's been great. I mean, the comments just now, like what people say, it makes me feel amazing to do this and really see how I'm impacting people's lives. And, it helps because I feel like this too. If you're young and you kind of want to document your real estate journey on social media as you go, I feel like a lot of the people around you, your friends, like suppress you. You don't want to do something out of the norm. You don't want to post about it. You feel embarrassed, or this is cringy, or whatever it is. But the impact is going to be there. So you just need to go for it. I feel like that too. Don't let your friends and whatnot suppress you too if you're trying to do something out of the ordinary at a young age.
Jacob, would you like to answer this question? What's your why?
My why. I want to be successful for myself and my family. At the end of the day, family's all you got. So I want to make them proud and make them happy. I know other times in my life I've had them not proud, and I don't want to be that way anymore. I want to make them as proud as possible. And I want to impact people, the youth. School was never my thing, and I feel like a lot of people dread going there every day and sit there depressed, tapping their feet, waiting for the clock to ding to get out of class. And if I can just help, one person find a different route, that means the world. That's pretty much it. Also another why is everyone's got a dream, and you owe it to yourself to make those dreams come true. So that's what I want to do, is make my dreams come true.
What's your dream car, Jacob?
Yeah. My dream car is the one sitting outside the office.
Yes! Ring that bell, Brent. Ring that bell. Ring that bell. Tell us what it is. Tell us what it is, Jacob. Tell us what it is.
So growing up, I was always wanting to be a YouTuber, watching YouTube, and they were all buying BMW i8s. So it was like ingrained in my brain. One day I got to get this. And I set the goal in December of 2019 to buy it. December of 2020, bought it. So you can manifest this stuff into your life. You just got to write it down, visualize it, think about it, set the goal, and it will become a reality. So awesome that I've been able to do that too.
Unreal.
Let me tell you, right? I bought the dream car. 2 days after driving it, I realized I don't need things like this.
Yes, that's also true. And you know what? Usually it takes men like 4 cars and a couple of ex-wives until they figure that out. But you got it 2 minutes after you got into that vehicle, which again explains the prodiginess of you.
Yeah, you got to realize, right? You want everything that you don't have. So that's kind of what hits you after you buy something like that. But, I love driving it. Don't get me wrong. Feels good to, have something tangible like a trophy for all the hard work I've put in.
Unreal. What's your cost per contract? There's been a few people asking.
Cost per contract. I'd have to look. I don't know off the top of my head.
Okay. All right. No problem. We'll get back to you guys. Jacob will hit us back with that, and we'll post it in the.
That's his next YouTube content video.
Yeah.
What's my average cost per deal?
That's it, guys. And for those of you that aren't following Jacob on YouTube, go give him a follow on YouTube because he deserves it. And he's also going to put out what his cost per contract is. What's your handle on YouTube, Jacob?
Just Jacob Blank. Look me up on YouTube. It should pop up. Or type in Jacob Blank Real Estate and it'll pop up.
I want everybody who thinks this guy is inspiring, who thinks he's amazing, to do us 2 things right now. Share this on your Facebook or wherever share this on your Instagram so that people know you're watching it. And then also go give him a follow on YouTube because this guy is incredible, and you need to continue following him. How inspiring is this guy?
Thank you.
Couple things I want to jump on real quick. I'm noticing a tremendous amount of people squatting up in the comments today.
Yes.
We appreciate you guys. That's why we do this show. A lot of people ask why we put out so much free content. And one of the most important parts of this show is that in the first episode, we came up with the slogan of the show, which is Squad Up. And I see it. It's crazy what goes on in the side chat. So guys, if you're in Facebook, I think what's kind of happened is most people have converted over to either one of our 3 YouTube channels where we're streaming this from, Jamil, Brent's, or my own. You are missing a lot of the conversation if you're only in Facebook, just FYI. So I'm watching. It's like hundreds and hundreds of comments. Second thing I want to point out is, guys, we've had a lot of people stick through this show. We've reached close to 500 live viewers today. Jacob, congrats, man. That's a very high viewership. Usually we kind of hover around like 425, 450. Today we hovered around the 500 mark a couple of times. So that's number 2. Number 3, if anybody saw the post I made on Instagram today, I promised that I was going to give away some tickets to some of our friends. We are doing a real estate event first week in May. So what I want to do is, Jacob, you're on Instagram, right?
Yep.
Can you do me a favor and you go to can you pull up my Instagram right now?
Yep.
And while we're looking for some more questions to ask you, because I'm seeing a bunch of really good questions come across, will you go to the post I have of it's me holding up the sub 2 peace sign. And will you, yep, that one. Will you go down in the comments? And what I want you to do is I want you to find 15 people who tagged somebody else in that post, and I want you to type in your YouTube channel there. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to have my team, out of those 15 people, those people are going to get the ticket to the event off that Instagram post.
So just reply to the ones.
Yep, just reply and copy and paste your YouTube channel so everybody that sees that post can see your YouTube channel.
Let's do it. Wow, you're giving me the honor to pick 15 people.
You're picking 15 people. That's about...
I'm going to be there too. So everyone that I pick, you'll be able to meet me.
Perfect.
What is the event, gentlemen? What is the event?
All in Freedom.
Oh, got it. Yeah.
Jacob, I'll bring you up on stage.
Awesome.
Okay.
All right, I'm going to pick these after this. And you guys will be excited.
I'm going to be sitting beside Jacob as well. I just want to hang out with him. I just want whatever he's got to rub off on me.
I love it. I love it. It's so good. So guys, don't forget, the main thing you should be doing on the show is following the guest and following their journey. So give Jacob that respect and go follow his YouTube channel. He's got a lot of really good stuff coming out. And I think his next couple of weeks, he's going to do what's my average cost per contract video. He's going to essentially answer any questions you guys have in his comments on future YouTube channels. So go follow him right now. Jacob, is it just youtube.com/Jacob Blank?
Yep, that's it. So you
Love
just
it.
look me up and it'll pop up. Putting out videos every week. I'm going to try to do it consistently the whole year. I did it for 5 months last year and only took a break for 2 weeks. So I think I can make it the whole year this time.
Awesome.
Lovely.
Jacob,
Rachel,
do you still get Christmas presents from your parents?
No, I don't get any gifts anymore because I make too much money. I don't get anything anymore. But, that's just how it goes.
So
unless I give them good gifts back, then they want to pay me back with a good gift.
let's jump on this one. How do we go from 5 figures a month to 6 figures? Is there a major difference? Is there a major paradigm you have to shift mentally? Is there a technical thing? Is there a system, a software? Is it just simply going through the lumps and getting punched in the face multiple times? What is it that's going to take me from the $60,000 a month mark to the $101,000 a month mark?
I think it's 3 things. I think it's a technical thing. I think it's a mental thing. And I think it's a consistency thing. I was having $40,000 months, $20,000 months, then hitting a 6-figure month, then 60K for a very long time. And then all of a sudden it started being 6 figures every month. And mentally, I had to get really overwhelmed. I needed to have way too much going on. I needed to be freaking overwhelmed for more money to come in. Technically, I needed more volume. I needed to up the marketing. That way I had a cushion. I had more leads, right? I had a cushion. So let's say 1 month I was only getting small deals, but I had more leads. So it was possible I could hit 6 figures because I was going to convert more deals. So that was important. Needed more volume. And what did I say? Mental, technical.
Let me jump while you're thinking about another one, Jacob. Let me jump on that. I could not agree more with the way your personality, maybe there's a similarity in the way my personality works, is that I prefer to be overwhelmed and have chaos in my life because it gives me more things to sort through. It's like throwing spaghetti at the wall, right? Seeing what sticks. A lot of people want to do like one little thing at a time. I prefer overwhelm me, put my back against the wall because I perform way better when my back is against the wall. It's very similar to your dad and you running and gunning when your family was going through a bunch of crap. Things happen when you have nothing else to focus on except for that chaos and that back against the wall, mentality. So I do love that. I wouldn't say that that's a perfect fit for everybody, however. But for me, that resonates with me. I prefer to have way too much momentum and have to stay up late, get up early. That's my personality, but it doesn't mean it's the only way, because here's the thing is I travel with Jamil. Jamil is probably the most grounded person I know. He's very regimented. And in some ways he's the polar opposite of me. And the dude does 500 transactions a month. So guys, don't compete and don't compare. Find out what works for you and don't feel like you have to be a perfect spitting image of Jacob Blank. Now, here's what happens. I remember when Jalen White came on the scene, everybody wanted to be Jalen White. Okay? Everybody wanted to be Jalen White. Guess what, guys? Jalen White, we know him. We're in a mastermind with him, but he's not in wholesale anymore. Okay? You can get burned out if you don't build the proper systems and you don't have a long-term passion for this business. So don't try and burn yourself out. Even though that's what Jacob just said, it doesn't mean you have to go burn the candle at both ends of the stick.
Right. It can't last. Being overwhelmed can't last forever.
No.
You got to have those breaks. But sometimes that's what you need to break through to 6 figures. But it depends on the person for sure. And then the final thing that I was going to say is consistency, right? Once you have 6 figures assigned in the pipeline, you take the gas off, and you can't do that because then next month is going to be 40K. And that's kind of the issue, right? It was just me and my dad making phone calls, right? And we had to put the numbers on the board, right? And we'd have 6 figures on the board, and we'd take the gas off and work on other things, Podio, processes, systems, right? Because we felt like we had the time. But then the next month would be dry. So it's a battle, but eventually you have enough volume, you're consistent enough, you're overwhelmed enough, at least in my case, and you break through and you start hitting 6 figures consistently.
So when you started out, it was you and your dad, Jacob?
What?
When you were starting out, it was you and your dad hitting the phones?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yep.
I love that. And I mean, I see it in the future
and we both had periods where he would go on a run and get a ton of deals, and then I'd go on a run and get a ton of deals. We'd put like 6 figures up. Then I'd go a run. One time I put up 200,000 in a matter of 2 months, and it was like crazy that I was that.
So you were calling, doing acquisition, doing all the appointments, everything?
And we were both just chasing after the next best deal, competing, trying to get the best deal. And it was fun. It was fun.
How do you get enough data? Because I know 7.2 million calls means that's 2.4 million on average addresses that you have to get skip traced. At an average skip trace of 15 cents, that's $360,000. So do you have an in with? And by the way, that's 1 month. How many times do you go through that? You know what I mean?
Yeah, I use something that not a lot of people use. I use Cole Realty Resource. It's $795 for the year. You get unlimited data with phone numbers for your market. There's a catch, though. You can only pull 1,500 records at a time. So you pull out like page 1 through 14, and then 14 through 20, and you pull them out. So there's only 1,500 records on a page, and then put them all together. So you got to have a VA do it to get tons on tons of records. But this is how you do it at a low cost. Also, it might not be the highest of highest quality, but it's definitely pretty good quality. And like I said, I'm doing broad marketing, so I don't care as much. I just want to talk to people. I don't even care if you own a home, right? So
you're saying that you're only spending $750 a month on your data?
A year.
A year on your data?
I buy other lists too, so I do spend, but I spend way less money on data than a lot of people in this business, for sure.
And what's
Can I say something? My favorite part of this before we move from the consistency thing. How many times do you think Brent, Jamil, and myself have heard a student that had, or not even a student, because I feel like our students have really go through some mindset training, and so maybe it's not so much there. But it's like YouTube comments, or it's Instagram DMs, or like Sunday service. I'll get people on there that go, man, I went to a seller appointment. They told me no. What do I do now? And I'm like, dude.
Oh, another one. Keep going.
Right. Well, that's what Jacob did, right? So after 8 months, or was it 4 months that you got your first deal and it fell through?
Yeah, it was probably like 4 or 5 months that I got that first signed contract.
So you were consistent through 4 months. Right? You get your first signed contract, something happens during it, and instead of stopping and being deflated and this doesn't work and how quick were you back on the phones?
The next day, right away. Or if it wasn't late in the day, I'm right back on right after. Sometimes I'd take the afternoon off if an appointment didn't go well, but I was right back at it the next day. You got to be. What do I do now? The exact same thing. Go to another appointment, get a no again, and then do it again and again and again, and eventually you'll get a yes. And you better be counting your no's, because it's going to take a certain amount of no's to get a yes. So make sure you're counting them.
How many no's?
Like that's the most misunderstood part of this business or anything in life is that thing. And some people come to me and go, hey, what marketing strategy should I use? And I go, you should choose one. They all work, right? They all work. Even bandit signs work depending on the market you're in. So do your research. But any marketing strategy works as long as you stick with it more than 2 weeks. Like what happens with people is after 2 weeks of cold calling 2 hours a day, they're like, this doesn't work. Dude, listen to Jacob. The dude's driving his dream car, and it took him 8 months to get his first deal. Yeah. Consistent through 8 months. If you're not consistent for at least 90 days, you have no reason to say that this doesn't work.
And I just was on my phone the other day and I found a video of me on the phone with a seller from 2019. And I sound 6 years old. I have no idea what I'm saying. It sounds terrible. I said a million times and I still got a deal. I still did it. I just pushed through. I sounded terrible. So if I could get a deal sounding like a little 6-year-old kid on the phone with them, then you can too.
Yeah, and on top of it, here's the other thing that you mentioned that's really good. Hyru the Great says, how do you calculate numbers to make sure it's a good deal? I can tell you right now, the best show on YouTube right now is Straight Outta Compton, Jamil's on Wednesdays. There's no better show. I think it's the most brilliant show. It's been needed for years. If you guys ever have a question of how to comp a property, what you've told me, it goes through my filter in my brain, and this is what my ears hear. I'm not subscribed to Jamil's YouTube channel. That's what I heard you say. So if you have a question about comping a property, my answer is going to say, go subscribe to Jamil's YouTube channel and follow him on Wednesdays. You have no excuse not to be a master of comping properties after watching that. Go and watch it multiple times and then put to practice. Here's what I would suggest. Because Jacob made a really good point of this. He said, I consumed YouTube. I went out and figured out the information. What was available to me, I put into action. So when you're watching Jamil's show on Wednesdays, okay, pull open your damn laptop and instead of consuming it, practice along with him. He gets the address. Pull out the address. Pull up your prop stream. Pull up your batch leads, whatever it is. Comp the property with Jamil. Get those reps in. And that is how you figure out how to run numbers on a house, guys.
He does the exact same thing I do with my acquisition guys to train them. You run comps on Zoom in front of them. It's literally all you need to learn how to comp. I just tuned into that like last week. I was like, wow, this is what everyone's needed, because that's the most frequently asked question. I feel like, how do I get the offer? Because it's kind of hard. There's different properties, you know, you need direct, like hands-on experience to really, because it varies, you know.
How many houses are you comping a day, Jacob?
Hundreds. They make like 3,000 follow-up calls a month, the guys in here, the guys that try their hardest. So hundreds of properties.
Hundreds. Yeah. He said hundreds.
Yeah.
Jacob, I could 10x. Jacob, I could 10x your business right now. It's called Buy Good Data, because Cole Realty Resource is one of the worst of all time. I'm telling you right now, the worst. If you spent enough to get really good data and you're doing this kind of numbers, you could do 100 deals a month.
Yeah, I don't know.
According to these deals, I am telling you right now, I know the owners, I know where they're at. I've used Cole Realty Resource since 2008, bro. Like, I know this company. Their data is decades old. Like, it's not like, there's a reason it's $800 a year for like unlimited. There's a very specific reason. So I want everybody watching this knowing that Jacob can 10x if he gets really good data.
I bought a really good list in Phoenix and I barely saw the difference. But I don't know.
Who'd you buy it from, Jacob?
We all went in on it. I'm pretty sure y'all might have the same list. Jared Vidalis and all of us went in on it.
Got it.
So that was a pretty good list. I didn't see much of a difference between the Cole, but definitely there is better data. But getting started too, like, you could save a lot of money because you need a lot of numbers, you know.
Jacob, you are crushing, bro. You are doing such a great job. I would love to have you share some notes with my partner, Cody. We're averaging on wholesale, we average 1 in 50 leads turns into a contract. And then out of those 50, 1 in 30 turn into a creative finance deal. So essentially, you're at like 1 in 100. You could get 3 creative finance deals and 2 wholesale deals out of those same exact leads. So we got to maybe look at either your follow-up process or some of the things that your guys are saying. But I'd love to get with you when I get back in town and hang out. More important, I would love to bring value to you and have me and my team call in your dead leads, the ones that are like, no, I want $500,000 for my $450,000 house. Like, give me access to those. I'll give you some value, and then we'll share notes on some other stuff.
Sounds good, bro, because we're really trying to help our conversion rate out. 1 in 100, it's not terribly awful, but it's definitely not good.
Bro, you're driving an i8. You're perfectly fine, right? You're crushing it. So I'm super impressed. But this is the thing, and this is what's great about this industry, okay? When I was a contractor, contractors hold everything secret. They don't tell anybody anything they're doing. They don't want to share any information. When I jumped into this industry, it was like, wow, not only can I get this information, but like the guys that are giving it to me are like friendly. And not just friendly, they become my friends. I travel around with them. Our wives become friends. We go to parties together. We make money together. And so that's the doors that get opened up to you in this industry, guys. When you squad up, is that nobody is here to bash on anybody. It's all to bring each other up. Look what Jacob's doing, bringing everybody up. Like hundreds of comments today about how badass you are and how inspiring you are, dude. Keep elevating, keep freaking crushing, keep doing doing the thing. How's your dad enjoying the business, hanging out with his son every single day?
It's awesome. It's always what he dreamed of. He dreamed to work with his dad and like take over his business. So it's his dream. So making it happen. And he was my hockey coach growing up too, and he feels like some of the things are the same with that too. So he loves it.
Jacob, I got a question for you that's kind of burning in my gut. I need to know, what are your friends like? Who do you hang out with?
They're just normal teenagers. I don't know. I'm on a whole different wavelength. It's kind of weird. So if you're trying to become really successful at a young age, there's going to be some other weird obstacles and challenges that you're going to go through just because you're just on a whole different path than everyone.
How do you relate? How do you relate to people your age that when they're like, yeah, you guys want to go half on a Subway on a sandwich, and you're like, I could buy this. Relate. Like how does that work?
I don't even know. I can't relate on a lot of things. It's weird. I don't know. It is something that you run into. It's tough. It's the reason why 99% of people, don't make it. And so that's just the way it is. So you're always going to be around people like that.
Hey, Jamil, I've got a question for you. Hyru is really, he's the one that asked the comping question. Now he's asking questions about rehab costs. Last time I went head to head with Jamil on rehab costs, I got schooled. Okay. I was a contractor for 10 years. And Jamil looks at so many properties every single day. He's got a really, really good set of formulas. So Hyru, bro, I would suggest, again, go and watch Jamil's live show on Wednesday. Jamil, what time is it at?
2 p.m. PST.
2 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. It is called Straight Outta Compin'.
Coming straight out of Compin'.
And Jamil will also show you how to evaluate renovation. He's spot on. I promise you, every time I spend 45 minutes looking through photos and measuring and all that kind of stuff and putting it on a spreadsheet, he has very simple set of formulas. It's not always the same formula per house, but he has a very simple set of formulas for rehab costs, and it's part of his comping process. So go watch his show.
Boom.
Jamil told me that if he gets 100 subscribers, he's buying me dinner. That's why I'm pushing you guys over to the show.
I love it. You'll get it. It's a great. I mean, just great comments today. Everybody is just full of positivity and love for Jacob, and really good questions. I think, really, really good questions. And yeah,
there's a really good question. Yeah, this one that just popped up. Pace, you should answer this because I heard you went like completely virtual.
Yeah, I also don't like having American employees. So you and I differ in this world. So do you need an office with in-house peeps to do 7 figures in this business? No. In fact, we don't have an American acquisition person in our business. Our virtual assistants close down our deals and actually help out with the comping. They help out with the transaction coordinating. They help out with a lot of stuff. The entire process for us is automated other than a morning meeting, right? We have a morning huddle with our team, and I'm not even in it anymore, which is amazing. I get a check every month, and I'm like, holy crap, this is the greatest thing ever, is a real scaled business that doesn't require me to be there. I personally feel like when I did have American salespeople, I felt like I really needed to have an office space to keep them managed, motivated, and actually consistent. And now I'm in a position, this is my current journey in my business, is that if I have to have an office to convince my American employees to be those things, then I don't want any more American employees. And I don't mean that all across the board. I'm talking acquisitions. Acquisitions is one of the hardest positions in a business to fill for a couple of reasons. One, most people that are good at acquisitions are also entrepreneurial. So what you're really doing is you're teaching people to build their own business. And the second they get good, they're just going to leave, right? And then the ones who don't get good, you don't want them anyway, right? So for me, Jacob, I don't know if you probably, because you're really good with your VAs, you probably will make that journey in the next 18 months where you go, I want to keep a couple of my acquisition guys that are really hardworking, amazing guys. But as they don't work out or they don't want to elevate, I will probably ultimately say I'm going to go fully virtual. And that's where we're at right now. We actually are turning our current acquisition office into a student rental for ASU. And I will no longer have a house or an office dedicated to my acquisition business. And we're not doing as much as you, Jacob. We don't want to grow anymore. We're probably averaging about $150 a month in wholesale fees, but we use our wholesale business to acquire fix and flips, where we do another 125,000. And then we average about 8 new rentals every single month from sub-2 or seller finance from that same funnel. So for us, we're like, dude, if we can automate that, and that's our real estate side, and I don't have to have an office, that's the route we really wanted to go.
Yeah.
But when we had Americans, I felt like we really did need an office.
Yeah, I see that possibly happening in the future too, because I don't want to be tied down to an office necessarily. So something definitely to think about.
I think COVID changed everybody's mindset. I think it pushed this business 10 years into the future really, really fast, where people are like, wait, I can do this from home, right? Now, here's the caveat to that, is that inside my sub-2 mentorship, I have Americans that help my students close deals. But those Americans that are acquisition people are on base and plus bonus, right? So I'll pay an American, let's say $4,000 bonus on a $40,000 acquisition. With a virtual assistant, I'll pay them $50. So at some point, you've got to scale to that and keep more money for yourself. I'm not giving you advice, Jacob. I'm just kind of talking to the audience that there are phases of this business, and there's different flavors. This is like Baskin Robbins. And if you guys looked at my Instagram post from a couple of days ago, I said the hardest part about this business is the fact that there are so many different ways to skin the same cat. And so what happens is people jump on cold calling, they jump on ringless voicemails, they jump on texting, and they're trying them all out for 2 weeks or 3 weeks at a time. It's impossible to be successful in that realm. But make sure you look at all 4 of the guys on this screen. We all 4 have completely different businesses. All 4 completely different.
Totally.
Some have partners, some work with their family. Some have big, massive scaled operations doing hundreds of deals. Some are just saying, look, man, I just want to take home $40,000 to $80,000 a month. Take home's more important to me. So whatever resonates, and by the way, Brent's the one that's taught me that is what's super important to me right now in my wholesale operation, is like, what's my take home for the amount of work I put in is my most important KPI at this point. 2 years ago, my most important KPI was cost per contract. Now it's how much money am I taking home for the 5 hours of work I put in, right? So pay attention to Jacob. Follow him on YouTube. If he resonates with you, then go follow his footsteps. There is no one way to skin this cat. There's 1,000 different ways to skin this cat. You just got to find the one that you're in tune with.
Well,
Yeah.
Jacob and I both know the way to skin the cat is to talk to people.
Yeah.
That's how you skin the cat. I mean, so you could go off all you want, Pace, but the core principle, baby, is picking up that phone and saying hello. Would you consider an offer on your property? Right?
Yeah.
And you do that 7 million times or 2 million times or whatever it is, and you do it 20 times, you do it 100 times, you do it 200 times. You're working with your dad, you're working with yourself, you're going, you make the calls, and you're in action. And that action is going to build the confidence, and that confidence, that's what separates the real leaders, the real people that are taking home the real money to their family, is that confidence, and the confidence to know that you can do that, the confidence to know that you could lead people, the confidence to know that you can have a bad month and bounce back, the confidence to know that you know different marketing channels are going to be appropriate for different times, but it all comes down to being proactive, and it all comes down to talking to people. It comes down to having those quality conversations. And
I got my cost per contract pulled up. Just over.
Grab the bell.
It's just over $6,000. $6,182. Got that KPI for you guys.
$6,182 cost per contract. That's fantastic. Your cost per contract would probably get a little bit lower if you had a higher quality data and you convert better. But even then, with what Brent's saying is low quality data and double half the conversion rate of what Pace's team is getting, a $6,000 cost per contract is not bad. That's pretty dang impressive.
Yeah, and guys, let's talk about what you have to do to come up with a cost per contract. Okay, your cost per contract is every expense in your business divided by the average amount of contracts you're doing in a month. So let's say that Jacob is spending $60,000 a month in everything, right? Overhead, utilities, internet, gas for the cars, all the things, marketing, lists, acquisition people, everything, $60,000. Everything is $60,000, and he gets 10 contracts closed that month. That means he has a $6,000 cost per contract. That is a great number. I feel like that's a great number. I like it, dude. I like it. And you could just automate.
And if I got creative, it would probably be around 3,000-4,000.
Yeah, I would say our cost per contract right now is probably around the $3,000 mark. If it's just leads to conversion, like cost of leads, cost of acquisition people, that's $1,200 a contract. But then you add in the other overhead, you add in other things. We're about $3,000 a contract for an automated business.
Wild,
dude. Imagine you, achieving.
Plus, I got to build a portfolio. I got to build wealth, because when you get all this cash, taxes just comes by and takes all of it. So you gotta be buying properties.
So, bro, huge. Go, guys. If you want to learn about what Jacob's talking about, I paid $0 in income tax last year. We made millions of dollars, and I paid $0 in taxes. Go watch that Sunday service I did on depreciation, of how to use depreciation on rental properties or Airbnbs or all that kind of stuff, to essentially wipe out all that income that Jacob's making.
Yep, I got to get on that, because it's crazy when you make a good chunk of money, what you see at the end of the year.
Right.
Something you'll learn when you're young and you make a lot of money.
So Chris Kovinchik made a $50,000 assignment, and that's what that bell was for. But do it again so he knows it's for him. Chris Kovinchik, congratulations. Thank you for the show. $50,000 assignment is due to you. Go crush it and do what Jacob is doing and go and scale. But there was a question that Ronnie Fisher was asking, and he's asked, and I apologize if Ronnie, if I'm mistaking, if you're a man or a woman, I apologize. Ronnie wants to know, how did you decide to scale? And then once you did, what was the process? What was the process that you did to scale out? Because you're at 30 cold callers, you're at 5 acquisition guys, 4 local, 1 virtual, you and dad in the office. So this was a process. It didn't happen overnight. Would you give us what that roadmap looked like, please?
Me? Sorry.
Yeah.
I missed your question.
Oh,
Sorry.
no problem.
I
No
got
problem.
a text. Sorry. The roadmap?
The roadmap on scaling. So when did you
Oh,
decide?
the roadmap on scaling. Sorry, my bad. The roadmap on scaling. You know what worked, right? The first deal, whatever that was, you just need to double down and do more of it, and you will scale. And also, that whole journey to get your first deal, you are learning tips and tricks to avoid, and things to avoid, things to do better, and that's how you will scale. It will be much easier to get your second deal than it was to get your first.
But how many cold calls did you hire immediately? And then how many did you hire? And then how many did you hire? And what did that process look like?
So I hired 2 at first. I think you want to start with 2. I don't think you want to get 1 because I think the dialers work more efficiently if you have 2 on there because you can dial more numbers because it will allow you to have a higher drop rate because there's someone else to feed the other answered person to. So I'd hire 2 at the beginning. And then after I got my first deal, I went to 5. So I added 3 more. And then after a few more deals, I went to 8. I chilled out around 8 for a while. Then I went to 12 and then worked with 12 for a while and then got all the way up to 18. And now I'm at 30. That's kind of how it went. I knew what worked. And that's kind of something else. People think they have to scale by going in other marketing channels or going other directions. But I think you need to get your feet off the ground. You need to stack away money so you have the money to invest into other marketing channels. You need to do what worked and do it more. That's
so speaking of other marketing channels, and it's interesting to me that you chose cold calling over texting. And again, look, all of it's talking to people. So Brent, you're still right. You know, even what I do, even in astro flipping, it's TTP. If you boil it down, it's TTP. It's all TTP. So you always get the credit. But how, Jacob, when you're looking at it from that viewpoint, what do you think?
Why did I pick cold calling?
Why not text?
Why not text?
Because the average cost per contract right now for text messaging is around $3,000. Imagine if you had your 30 VAs texting the billions of people that you're reaching out to. Why choose cold calling over texting? I
can't say everything I want through text. I can't persuade as well through text, right? I might say one thing and they're just like, oh, I'm lazy. I'm giving up on responding. You know? Oh, you asked too many questions.
But are the VAs are they persuading or are they just handing you the lead? Like what's the
They are collecting information, persuading, finding out the reason why, the timeline, right? And once you have someone on the phone, they'll give you a little bit of time to answer questions. When it's text, you're waiting for them to respond, and that could take hours, right? So who knows? And I want to chase. I want to get them, not wait. With text, it is proactive, but it's also reactive at the same time. You're sending the text out and waiting for the response. So am I doing some text messaging in my business? Yes, I am doing a little. I only spend under $1,000 a month on it. I text a few niche lists daily. I haven't got a deal from text, and I spend like $500 to $1,000 a month. I do it because I want to be on top of certain niches. So yeah, that's why cold calling is just it works. It just does. There's no way it won't. Have I tried PPC? Yes. Have I done some direct mail? Yes. I do a lot of SEO. SEO works okay, but that's the long-term play. We're almost at the point where we're breaking through and getting tons and tons of leads, but we've only done a few deals from SEO. Just it works. Everything.
How did you train your cold callers?
I trained them by what I did was my uncle actually owns a call center in Costa Rica, and he taught me a lot of cold call skills, sales skills, and whatnot. So what I did is he was in town, and we sat together for hours and built a packet. There's one thing having a script, but expanding off that script and building a 10-page packet that breaks down rebuttals, listening skills, right? Paying keen attention to the seller so they know, active listening skills, you name it, just down the list. Me Too techniques, different ways to relate, different ways to pull out your questions, different ways to get into the call. So I built a 10-page packet so that way I'd have a system, a process that these cold callers go through to learn from. And that's something that I feel like a lot of people miss out on as they're getting into this business. You need to be building these procedures and these materials. You need to be building these packets of training materials and document and record videos of how to do things. So that way you can provide it to the next guy that you're going to have to train.
Jacob, what would it take for a Wholesale Hotline viewer to get their hands on that 10-page packet?
You know what? Let's see. How should we do the giveaway, right? Maybe, you know what? So I'm going to pick 15 people. I'm going to pick 15 people to attend All in Freedom. And then I'm going to pick a 16th person and I'm going to email them the packet. That sounds like a win.
Hey, there you guys go. Okay, so Jacob Blank is going to give away that 10-page packet to one lucky listener who follows his directions, and he's going to email you.
So are you saying you got to have them go over to my Instagram post, or what do you think?
Yep. Got to go over to Pace's Instagram, comment, tag at somebody. So tag somebody in the comments. I'm going to pick 15 people to go to All in Freedom and one person to receive my cold call packet.
Fan-friggin-tastic.
Love it.
Yes, I love it so much, Jacob. We're at this 90 minutes went by faster than I think any 90-minute wholesale hotline we've had that I've been on. I'm still super jazzed up. I could go for another 2 hours with this guy. Jacob, how do people reach out to you? How do we connect? Everybody here wants to adopt you. They all want you to date their kid. So how do they do that?
Yeah, so connect with me on Instagram at JacobBlank_. YouTube, go subscribe. I teach a ton of stuff on there for free. I break down everything, give out all the games. So make sure you subscribe to my YouTube channel. Just look me up on YouTube, Jacob Blank. I also have a Facebook group. It's a small group. There's only 2,000 people in it. It's Millennial Motivate on Facebook. So if you want to join that, that's a good way to kind of be close and personal because it's a small group. And I'm on TikTok too. Jacob Blank on TikTok.
Jacob, would you mind sharing that 10-page document with maybe a few select people from Astro, Sub 2, and TTP as well?
Yeah, of course.
Awesome. So if any of you guys are Astro flippers, TTP students, or Sub 2 students, Jacob's going to share that with us, and we will selectively hand that out to the people that deserve it. Jacob, you are so inspiring, brother. I appreciate you like tremendously. I was impressed with you before you came on this show. And now I'm like to the moon impressed with you, bro. You're a fantastic person. Your parents did an amazing job with you. Their parents did an amazing job with them. If I could look back at my life and say that I produced a child or a person in this world with your impact, your knowledge, your capacity to do something on this planet, I would be so thankful. I'd be so grateful.
Hey, can I nominate a guest?
Yes.
I think we should have Jacob's dad come on here in a month.
I agree.
Let's do it.
I agree.
Because I give Jacob a 10 out of 10.
I want to know
his dad's an 11 out of 10. I haven't even spoken to his dad, but I just know like we should have a parent come on here and talk because it's come up multiple times. Check this out. It just popped up again, but this has happened multiple times. Barbara Christie says, Jacob, how can I inspire my 16-year-old to learn this business? Now, part of this is Jacob being who he is. The other part is your dad is a badass. I think we should nominate and figure out when we can get your dad on the show to talk about his perspective of your business.
Yep.
And how to get your children to learn this business and break that legacy curse that a lot of people have. What do you guys think?
I think that's needed.
1,000%. I'll reach out to your dad, Jacob, and we'll set that up.
Sounds like a plan. And thank you so much, Jamil, for what you said. That means the world, bro. I really appreciate it.
You're just an incredible guy, man. Everybody follow Jacob Blank. Be his friend. Make your kids like him. Brent, take us home.
Hey, guys. That's it. That's episode number 60. What an incredible episode it was. Pace in the car, looking good and bearded and grizzly. I don't know where you're at, but you're looking great. Jacob, thank you so much for coming on here and just opening up your business to everybody. And Jamil, you're the best of all time. So what else is there to say? You're the best. Everybody out there, keep squatting up. Make sure you're getting into the Facebook group. Make sure that you're joining Pace every Sunday on his YouTube channel. Join me on Wednesday mornings and join Jamil right after at 2 o'clock on his YouTube channel. Check check us all out. We are live answering your questions. Thank you so much, Jacob, for being on here. Until next time, guys, we love you. See you.
Love you guys. See ya.